Spoilercast, yes, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them because, well, it's the Spoilercast. And with me, as always, is my sister and trusty co-host, Rebecca. Hello. And in today's episode, we're talking about the Conjuring movies, or more specifically, the Conjuring 1 and 2. We're kind of, I guess we're celebrating the fact that the Conjuring 3, or I guess the Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It, the trailer has just released.
Yes.
And we're both pretty big fans of the Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
We're pretty excited, so we figured we should recap the first ones.
Yes. Well, we're gonna do the whole franchise, the whole universe, so to speak. But there's too many movies to talk about in one episode. So today we're doing the original and the sequel. And then on Monday, on the Patreon episode, we're gonna talk about the Annabelle movies. So if you're interested in hearing our opinion on those, please check us out on Patreon and help us by supporting us. On Patreon to hear that episode and many more exclusive episodes. And then we're gonna finish off next Thursday by talking about the two
separate sort of?
Yeah, the two separate spin-off movies, the Nun and the Curse of La Llorona. And then eventually we'll do an episode on the Conjuring 3, of course. Yeah. Whenever that comes out in Sweden.
Comes out.
It's
available.
It's supposed to be in May, like late May, but I don't believe it. Because yesterday, Nobody was supposed to premiere in Sweden, and it didn't. Because theaters are open, but not really. And dates, they have dates for movies, but they don't release on the dates they're supposed to because of everything. So
but the date set on Conjuring 3 The Devil Made Me Do It is, for Sweden at least, June 4th.
June 4th, right, so beginning of June. We'll see.
UK will get it late May, so maybe we'll be able to see it anyway somehow,
hopefully. But until then, we are talking about the Conjuring 1 and 2.
Yes.
Or I don't know, maybe we should save that. Or maybe we shouldn't. Do you want to say what you thought of the trailer for The Devil Made Me Do It?
I haven't looked that closely at it, actually.
No, you've seen it.
Yeah, but I think I saw a teaser only.
Well, there's only a... What?
Maybe it is the trailer. It felt very short, the one I saw. It felt like it was repeating itself. But what I saw looked kind of good. Like, it seemed very similar to the first two movies, but just, a different villain, so to speak. Same emotional connection and the same dramatic, she's scared of losing him kind of thing.
Well, but yeah, because it's a sequel. But what did you think of it?
No, it looked exciting. I still want to see it.
Okay.
I'm very excited to see it.
I mean, it looked like a sequel to The Conjuring, but I don't know.
But it looked like the scenes you saw looked very similar, like dramatically similar to the big scenes in the first and the second. And honestly, I didn't realize this, but there are some very similar patterns between the first and the second one.
Well, yeah.
That I've never realized before. Well, to be fair, I've only seen the second one maybe 2 times because it still creeps me out.
Okay.
It literally took me 2 days to see the second one this time around.
Well, let's get into it then. Because I can say, I'm also excited for the third one. I thought the trailer almost had it felt almost like more epic in scope.
A bit,
with all the stuff in the forest, and almost like an action movie from time to time. And I was like, "Ooh, I don't know about this," but I'm still excited about seeing it.
Yeah, it felt a bit more like a criminal action movie, kinda. But maybe that's because it starts with the police and the guy telling people that I think I hurt someone.
Yeah, and the scenes in the forest with all the flashlights, and everything. It looked very epic.
Yeah.
But I'm also interested in seeing if they're gonna do something with the fact that this is the first case in which um, the defendant, I think it's called the accused, said, brought the demons as their defense. Like, I didn't do it; it was demons.
Yeah, they
Like, and
mentioned it in the trailer.
They did it in real life, and Lorraine Warren was there in the court when they did it. I just want to see, because that's always fascinated me. With movies like this, or especially with a show that I watched last year, Warrior Nun on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Like the real world implications of, okay, heaven and hell exists. Now what?
Yeah, like Ed mentions in the trailer, like you always believe in God when people swear on the Bible and stuff.
Yeah.
Why not believe in the devil?
And I want to see now.
The reaction.
Obviously, we know they're not going to convince too many people because we still live in a very secular society, and I don't believe in it because I know, But
I mean, I don't believe in it. But...
in the movie universe, I want to see if they do something with it.
Yeah, and I don't believe in it, but just to be sure, I am wearing my cross today. Just to be sure.
Yeah.
Because I did watch a bit of like behind the scenes from the Conjuring 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And they like blessed the settings and everything to be sure. Just to be sure.
Yeah.
Like I agree. I'm not really a believer, but I wouldn't say it's impossible.
You're agnostic, as it's called.
Yeah.
You believe in something, you're just not sure what.
Exactly. I'm not sure it's God and the devil and all that stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me if there are evil things.
Yeah, that's agnosticism.
Yeah, I guess then.
But let's get into the first movie then.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it came out in 2013.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah. And did you see it in the theater?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure we did. We saw it together, I think.
Yeah, I think
I know we saw the second one in the theater.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure we saw this one because I at least, and I'm pretty sure we were as well, big fans of James Wan's earlier movies, Insidious, or I guess earlier movie at that point. Because he made Insidious in 2010, and then the same year as The Conjuring, he did Insidious Part 2, or Chapter 2. And I know we saw Chapter 2 in the theater.
Yeah.
And even before that, I was a fan of the original Saw movie. I don't know if you like the original Saw.
I've never actually seen, like, a full Saw movie.
Okay.
Because I watched it, whenever I've watched Saw movies, I've seen it with a friend, and she has a habit of, like, fast-forwarding through stuff.
Okay.
So either it's because it's scary or because it's too slow.
Yeah.
So whenever Saw started, like, when people were chopping stuff up from themselves, she would,
said
like,
no.
She was like, "Oh, we're skipping this." I'm like,
Okay.
Okay, so I've only seen parts of it. And I've probably only seen, like, a couple of them.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, I really liked the first one. But then I remember I went and saw the second one in the theater in 2008, I think. 2007. And the second one is like okay, but after that it's pure trash. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, as they've made now, and an 8th is on the way, are pure trash. Some of the gore is fun, but it's not worth it to sit through all the movies because I've done it and it's terrible.
I mean, how much can you actually do when all you do is gore? Like, how many times can you renew what you're actually doing?
Yeah. Well, look at Friday the 13th. They have like 12 movies, I think, if you count Freddy vs. Jason and the reboot.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have...
At least they have, like, more character development and stuff.
Not in Friday the 13th.
in the first movies, don't they?
No. Those movies were trash from the start.
Maybe I don't remember them correctly then, because I haven't seen them in ages.
You have Halloween movies. Now, the first one is a real, like, a horror movie classic.
See, I haven't watched horror movies in a while. So I don't remember a lot of it, but we're gonna get back into it because we know we have plans for
Yeah.
More horror in the future here on
Yeah.
this channel.
But yeah, let's then discuss. let's get back into the
The
Conjuring.
Conjuring.
Yes. What do you remember what you thought of it the first time you saw it?
I remember thinking that it was like almost like inventive in the way it scared people compared to what we were used to back then.
Mm.
Like even though it had some of the jump scares, they weren't as like popcorny as most of the horror movies were.
No, it definitely has popcorn scares, but they feel earned.
Yeah,
It isn't
and they
like,
have a
oh
few
no,
of
someone
the
grabbed my
like
shoulder. Oh, it's just my sister. It wasn't. It's not
no,
those kind of scares. It's actual
and they have a
scares.
few of the ones that are like almost dragged out, but and you're like, is it gonna scare me? And then it does scare me more than just closing the mirror and oh my god, someone's in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because I hate that one. That's the most boring scare in the world, and we've done it in basically every horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the clap.
Oh yeah. Do you want to play hide and clap? Psh, psh. Yeah. That's ugh. I watched half of the movie yesterday, but I fell asleep because I was watching it in the night. And yes, they don't really scare me anymore. I've seen the first one so many times because I really like the first one. I think I think it should be considered a horror classic at this point. Well, not yet, but eventually will be a horror classic.
Yes, definitely.
Because there's so much like craft that's gone into making that movie and making it not just a scary movie but a good movie. Yeah. So I've seen it too many times to be scared by it. But even that scene, I saw that today. I watched the rest of the movie. I watched on my lunch break, and when the hands come out behind the mother, goes like, I just I didn't jump, but I got shivers.
Yeah, exactly. I had like constant goosebumps.
Yeah, and the fact that when that happens, it's not like, oh my god, she runs out of the cellar. No, she's stuck in there, and she keeps screaming. Just keep hearing her pounding on the door. Ugh.
That entire disgusting. Night sequence is the worst because that's just pure panic.
Yes.
And you can actually feel it. It's not just teen screams. It's actual panic.
Yeah. And that and it also helps that that the characters, that's what kind of sets the Conjuring apart from most modern horror movies. Okay, so I should say most modern popcorn horror movies, because this is not like, I wouldn't put this on the same scale as like The Witch. Like that's on a whole different level of scary.
Yeah. That's another genre of scary almost.
Yes, this is a jump scare movie.
Yes.
But it just
it's done so much, way better.
So much better, yeah. And the fact that also that you get to know the characters, and it's not the movie isn't about the scares, it's about the characters.
Yeah.
Like there's I think there's 40 minutes before Ed and Lorraine Warren comes to the house. And before that, we've only seen them they've had seminars. They've talked to each other. We've seen their home life. They've talked about, we should take a break and write the book. Because of what happened with the farmer, the French farmer.
Yeah.
And it builds a rapport between the characters, and it builds up it builds up their they're more believable as real characters.
Yeah, it builds up our familiarity with them. It makes us care about the characters in general.
Yeah, like in a real movie.
In a lot of horror movies, you only have that one person you might want to survive to the end, but you don't really care about the rest.
No, they're just there to be killed.
Yeah, they're just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
But in this one, you're like, I want everyone to survive. I hope nothing hurts them. I hope nothing scares them.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the youngest daughter, but that's just because she's a kid. She's just the youngest. You do get more of her in the end, but in the beginning, she's kind of lost in the crowd because
because she's 5. There's not much going on there.
No. No.
I subscribe to I think it was Jung who said that you're not really a human until you're like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding, but
Well, before that, you're just a thing.
yes, you're a husk waiting to become a human.
Yes.
No, but it also that it takes time. Like it takes time, even with with the family. Even though you have a couple of minor scares pretty early on, they take time to let you know all the characters.
Yeah.
Even though there are 5 daughters, you still get to know who they are basically.
Yeah.
Um, and and also I think it helps that the setting is different. It's not modern day, and they take time to show you the house. Like there's that long, because it starts with them moving into the house, which helps. There's that
Obviously.
one long one take when they go through the entire house, without cutting, and you see all the rooms, you see everyone running around, and you hear the music.
Yeah, and they're like picking up stuff, and you can hear the banter, and you kind of get to know,
Yeah,
get a feel for it all.
you get a feel for it all, and you get a feel for the layout of the house, which is
Yeah.
important because of what happens later, which is the
Yes.
thing they bring back in the second one. But we'll get to that. So it's all set up. They don't hurry with the scares. Like they take time to do the due diligence before they start scaring you, and because they do that, it's much scarier than other movies. Like,
Yeah.
compare this to the Paranormal Activity movies. Sure, you jump, but it's never really scary. We've talked about this before. That's more of it's a reaction, but it's not scary. It's startling.
Yes.
But things are
But
actually creepy and scary and terrifying in The Conjuring.
yeah.
And
I mean, the
that's what.
entire house is kind of creepy and scary, to be honest.
Yeah.
That helps as well.
It looks a little too much like an old ghost house because of the
Yeah, a
walls and
little
everything.
bit.
But I think it works.
But they do also kind of like rectify that by saying that, well, we put all our money into this place, we're renovating it, we're gonna like pick it up and make it our home,
Yes.
because of his job situation partly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He
it's like,
works as
yeah, we
a
can
truck driver.
understand
Yeah.
that it might not be perfect yet, but they're planning on making it perfect. And of course, you buy something that doesn't look perfect. You can
Yeah.
always work with it.
And it also adds to the scary feeling.
Yeah, it
It's
adds to the
supposed to
creep.
look creepy. um, what was I thinking of? Damn it.
I'm not sure. I was thinking about the actresses. Well, mostly the daughters, because
Yes.
I remember them as being more better than what they were when
Okay.
we watched it. But maybe it's just because I've seen some of them in other stuff since, and the
Yes.
earlier
Uh,
work,
I
I
think it mostly has to do with the fact that one of them became not a big star really, but she's been in a lot of stuff after.
You mean Joey King,
Joey
right?
King, who's been
Yeah,
in so many movies after this, she became a
yeah,
bona fide like working actress.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, she's probably hired by Netflix now, based on how many Netflix movies she's in.
yeah, she made the Kissing Booth movies, and
Hmm.
they're making a third one. I saw.
Yeah,
She was in some other horror movies. She was in the Slender Man movie, which is
yeah.
terrible. She was in that. Did you see Wish Upon? The one with the little box
Uh,
that you can. I wish I had this, and then people die. It
no, I never actually watched that one.
it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It's trash, but I
Okay,
mean, it's one of those classic so bad that it's good movies. You really should check that one out.
okay.
But
I
she's
mean, she's been in things since 2006.
okay.
So she was working way before this as well.
Yeah,
But
but
I think after this, it kind of like picked up for her because this was a bigger role.
yeah, I didn't recognize it, but she was the one you remembered afterwards. I can
Yeah.
see why she has gotten most work after.
Yes.
She played Colin Hanks' daughter in the first season of Fargo, which is she doesn't have much to do, but she's great in that role. So I'm hoping she does more good stuff instead of just Kissing Booth and Slender Man.
Yeah. I actually hope she gets back into doing more horror as well.
Yeah, but good horror, because
Not
she's made so
yeah,
much
not
trash
Slenderman,
horror.
but
Yeah.
good horror. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
Most.
Or really, maybe because I'm getting a feeling, because she's done so many movies, and she wasn't 18 yet when she made Conjuring, right? Because she's like
No,
born
she's born in
97,
99.
99. Yeah, so she was 16.
She
No,
looks
17 when she
she
made
looks
Conjuring.
what? No, that came in 2013.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
She was like
yeah.
14.
14. Sorry, 14. Yeah.
She does look like 10 though.
Yeah, I
In
mean, I think
Conjuring.
she's supposed to play like a 10, 12-year-old.
But it's because she's short. That helps.
Yeah. But she's been working consistently since then.
Yeah.
So she's well past 18 now. So I'm just thinking, like, maybe it feels like one of those, like, kid actors who's being pushed by their parents. Maybe, I don't know. I'm getting that feeling, like, because usually you see kid actors, they do a bunch of stuff until they turn 18, and then they go to school.
Yeah.
And then if they really want to, they come back to acting. Or if they were just being pushed by their maniacal parents, they stop acting. She's just kept acting.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna stop acting though, but maybe she'll take a break, because at the moment she only has. No, she actually has one in pre-production, but it's a miniseries, so.
Yeah, well, it's also because of the pandemic. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hopefully she gets some time to rest now during the pandemic, so she can like not stop acting, because she's good. She should definitely continue. She has a bright future in front of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was thinking also of the second youngest sister, Cindy. Do you recognize her at all?
Cindy.
She doesn't have a lot to say. She has like a few lines, that's all.
Isn't she the one who sleepwalks?
Yeah, I think so.
Because the youngest is the one with the music box, who's friends with Rory, the ghost. Yeah. Right. Oh no! You see, some of the middle sisters kind of disappear. Like the oldest one, because she's not really in the movie that much. She's like, no. Oh, I hate being here. Could we maybe buy a house that has a working toilet? She's that character, and just ugh.
Yeah.
And then the youngest one, because she has a connection with the ghosts. Mm-hmm. And then Joey King's character, which I don't remember her name. What's she called? Christine.
Christine, yeah.
And then Nancy, I just remember Nancy is the one with the big glasses, the huge glasses, because she sleeps in the same room as Joey King's character. She says, "Not funny, Nancy," when the ghost pulls her leg. That's the only reason I remember her. But the middle, the second to youngest, no, I don't really remember her.
No, she looks like a doll. That's the only reason I remember her. And she plays the kid.
Oh, that's Mackenzie Foy. Oh,
yeah, in
okay.
The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn.
Well, then I know who she is. I just didn't recognize her in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see enough of her face, to be honest, in Conjuring to like recognize her properly. She has like one scene where you can like fully see her face with open eyes and everything.
Yeah, it's the one where she wakes up.
Yeah.
The second time she's sleepwalking.
Yeah.
What has she been in? She's in Interstellar, right?
You think? Yeah.
She plays a young Murph. But other than that,
I think her big one is the Nutcracker and the Four Realms.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, so I don't know. I don't know about that.
But I think that's like the biggest role.
I haven't seen the Twilight movies either, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of screen time or anything to say in that one. So.
I think I've seen screenshots of her. She wears like a big collar or something, poofy dress thing. No, I don't know.
No, that's something else.
I don't know.
But she sticks out to me, and she doesn't really fit into the family somehow.
No,
I don't know if it's I just feel like she's almost too pretty. She looks more like a model than an actress, so she doesn't really like fit into the whole we're
a regular family. Joe family.
Yeah,
all
doesn't
right,
really work
I guess.
For me.
And who plays the oldest sister? Because I know
Um,
The Nancy sister, she's been in some stuff. She's been in a bunch of TV stuff, but I don't know what the oldest
Andrea
sister
is
is in.
the oldest one, right?
Think so.
She's been in a few things. Mostly TV shows, though, or TV movies.
Who's April? Oh, that's the youngest one.
Yeah, that's the youngest one. She looks so grown up if you look at her IMDb.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, yeah, that picture. Well, she's almost 20 years old, so she's 18 now. So I guess she is
Yeah,
grown up.
true, true.
Yeah. But that means she was like 9 when she did.
Yeah, and she looked like 5.
Or 10, 9, 10. Yeah, she looks so young. Here's a picture from.
She looks tiny. But maybe she's just short as well, and it just works.
Yeah, but yeah, she looks like she's maybe not 5. Wait, is she the youngest?
Yeah, she's the youngest. She's the one who's left behind, and no one wants to play clap and hide with me, and she makes mom play with her.
Because she feels like she's so young, but she was 10?
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
Yeah.
So weird with the...
Movie magic.
Yeah, movie magic, yeah. Yeah, there, I see a picture now when she's playing hide and clap with her mother, or Lily Taylor, Yeah, she looks... She looks like she's... like 7, 6.
Tops, yeah.
Jesus, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, we just got stuck on that, sorry.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the actors.
The actors, yes. Yeah, I think...
These are their like smaller roles, but you still kind of remember them.
Yeah, and they all do a good job. No one does a bad job. I guess
for what they're given. Like they don't have a lot of space, some of them.
Yeah, especially the oldest.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I remember from her is when she's flirting with the guy who knows the technology.
Oh yeah, stuff. the tech guy. Oh, that scene is so good. That's another scene. That just fleshes out the character a little bit. You have a young cool guy who knows a bunch of tech stuff, and I think she's into photography or something. Because she asks about cameras.
Maybe she's just asking to start the conversation.
Yeah, so of course
but then she's kind of reluctant to moving there. She misses her friends, her same age friends, and then a cool guy who's a bit older comes into her life. Of course she's gonna talk to him. Why not?
He's the youngest of the grown-ups. She's the oldest of the kids.
Exactly.
And then when Ed or whatever his name is, Patrick Wilson, walks into the room and like, oh, Roy, could you help, whatever his name, I think it's Roy. No, that's a cop. Anyway. Could you help with the thing in the other room, the Bolex camera? So, oh, sure, yeah, it's fixed. And she leaves, and Ed looks at her, then looks at the guy and like, really?
Drew, his name is Drew.
Right, and he just gives him a, look, and then, alright, but you get exactly what it means, like, hey, don't mix business with pleasure, bruh.
Yeah, you're in the wrong state. You're not gonna see each other after this, probably.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Just because in another movie, they wouldn't do anything with it. It would just be, they wouldn't even tease that maybe they're like into each other. It would just be there would just be two characters standing in the background. But here, there's a little bit of whatever.
They add a little bit of layer to them.
Yeah,
a little bit of dimension.
And those little things, adds to the believability. Like I said, fleshes out the characters. And specifically that scene. I love that scene.
I love that one too.
Because of
I kind of want like one more.
Really? Yeah, sure, yes. I mean, they're not...
Just like one more, like after some point, maybe when she's extra scared, she'll go to him instead of like her parents or something. I don't know.
But she kind of disappears after when the ghosts start appearing. You mostly see the younger kids because they're more affected by the ghosts.
Yeah, and the mother.
Yeah, and the mother, and then of course Joey King sticks out because she's the best actor of them all.
She does have the most like emotional scenes as well, where she gets to act.
Yeah.
Like when she's left alone in the car. Like the younger kid doesn't get that space to do that, and then Joey, she does get to be left alone, and the camera's on her face, and they're like, "You're terrified. Just cry your eyes out, and just be." And she's good at it. She's an ugly crier, but it's so effective.
Yeah. But then let's talk a little about the grown-ups as well.
Yes.
Specifically Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, because there's one. They are they're kind of
seasoned actors.
They're seasoned actors, and they're also like the emotional center of the movie.
Yes.
Which is that's interesting, because usually in horror movies, it's the bad guy who's like the star. Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, even in James Wan earlier movies, Saw, Jigsaw, the killer, is the main guy, and then you have an interchangeable like roster around them. But in these movies, Ed and Lorraine Warren are the emotional center of the movie, and then they get to help other people. Here's the Warrens, and the next one it's the whatever they're called, Hodgsons.
Yeah.
And that could have been really boring if they didn't have chemistry, but they have so much chemistry.
Yeah.
Even more in the second one. We'll get to that. They're so good as a married couple. It's like, I don't know. It's not like Oscar worthy. It's not that kind of movie. But I mean, for a movie like this, it's amazing that you have such strong performances in the protagonists.
Yeah.
And especially since they're not really ever in. Well, once again, except for the second one, they're not really like in mortal danger. They're just there to help other people.
Yeah, but you do have that underlaying that they're both afraid of Lorraine going too far and not being able to come back again.
Yeah.
Because she did have that thing with the farmer where she locked herself away for 8 days.
Yeah.
Not really sure what that was supposed to do. Like, yeah, you saw your husband die, but
I think she was just
locking
afraid.
yourself away. Yeah,
she was
I guess.
probably just afraid.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're so good.
Yes. Like you said, you can feel the chemistry between them, not only because of like, oh, the characters obviously care about each other, but like the way they look at each other, the tiny smiles they just give, even though it's horrible. Everything, like the tiny details, is just so spot on.
And then it helps that Vera Farmiga, the way they have her makeup and her clothes, she looks a lot. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Lorraine Warren from that time.
Yeah, I know I have.
She's a little older. The original is a little older, but it's just something. The hair, the clothes, even that's once again more in the second one. Even her eyes, like I think they do something with the makeup that she's almost spot on, like Lorraine looks like Lorraine Warren. Ed looks much different in reality.
Is very Hollywood.
Yes, Patrick Wilson is much too good looking to play Ed Warren.
He's tall, he's fit, he's very handsome compared to the real Ed, who was a bit of a
regular guy.
Yeah, average Joe kind of thing. Yeah. But I mean, you gotta have a hunk in the movie.
Yes, I guess.
And obviously, it's gonna be the main character, the main guy.
But then, like I said, it doesn't really matter because they nail the performances.
Oh yes.
And they nail the chemistry.
Yeah.
And it also helps that I'm a big Patrick Wilson fan since before this. I started in 2010. I saw him in A-Team, and I was sold. He plays the bad guy in A-Team.
That's right, that's him.
Which is the same year he did Insidious, which I saw. I think I saw it like in 2011, but that adds to it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Patrick Wilson fan. So I'm just glad he is like a James Wan mainstay now. He's in almost every James Wan movie since Insidious.
I mean, yeah, a bunch of them at least.
Yeah. I mean, James Wan directed movies.
Yeah.
Because he produced a bunch of other stuff. But he's in all the Conjuring movies. He's in the Insidious movies. He's in Aquaman. He plays the main bad guy in Aquaman. He's not in Fast 7 or Furious 7, but that's because that wasn't a James Wan movie. He was
cast as well.
Yeah, and he was a director for hire for that movie, really.
Yeah.
But other than that, Patrick Wilson is his
go-to guy.
It feels like almost like it's his muse.
Yeah. Which I don't mind. He's a great actor.
Yeah, I think he's underappreciated as an actor.
Definitely. And maybe it is because you don't realize that it's him sometimes when you're watching movies. Like I know who he is, but I didn't realize that he was the guy in Aquaman.
Oh, really?
No. Not until now when I looked it up. I was like, really? That's him?
Yeah.
Same with was another movie I reacted to. No, which one was it?
He's in Stretch.
Oh, he's in Watchmen.
Yeah, he's what's the guy called? Night Owl, right?
Yeah, Night Owl.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's 2009. So that was even before A-Team. But it was A-Team that made me like, ooh, I like Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
And then
he's great in that too. Like now that I'm thinking of it, like, oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
He's great. That's a great character.
Then he's been in some movies before that, but there's only like minor stuff. Like he plays someone in Phantom of the Opera, which I liked, but I haven't seen that in like 15 years.
I think he's the guy who's in love with the girl that the Phantom kidnaps.
Maybe he plays Raoul. I don't remember who that is. Yeah. And he has a very small part in Prometheus, where he plays Shaw's father in her like memories or dreams or whatever it is.
Okay. Well, I don't think I've seen Prometheus actually.
You haven't? Well, good for you.
Yeah, because I remember you were like, you don't have to watch it.
No,
okay,
don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Not gonna.
Ooh, he's in The Tall Grass. I haven't seen that one, but I've heard it's good. Well, then I gotta watch that. Anyway.
Yeah, see. Yeah, no, he's very underappreciated actually.
Yes.
It's weird.
Yes. He should be in more stuff. Anyway. Vera Farmiga, however, I haven't seen her in much other than The Conjuring. I know she like made an impact early on because I saw her in first I saw her in The Departed, where she plays the psychiatrist. Yeah. And then she plays the love interest in Up in the Air, two like super prestigious movies that came out like in the late 2000s, I think 2008, 2006, I think.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But after that, I don't remember seeing her in much. She has like a small role in what's that movie called? With Jake Gyllenhaal and he's time traveling on a train.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. I don't know what it's called.
He's not technically time traveling, but
yeah, where everything he like repeats the segment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. In Transit, I don't know.
Source Code.
Source Code. That's the one.
Good movie, but she has a small part in that. And then I didn't really see her in much until she's an Orphan. Ugh, have you seen Orphan?
Yes, that is one of my earliest memories of watching horror movies. To be honest.
Okay, I didn't like that movie.
But I can't for the life of me remember who she plays in it. Is she the mother?
I think she's the mother. I'm not sure.
Adopted mother, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, but then she did like some movies here and there, but then I think Conjuring kind of brought her back into the mainstream a little bit, I think.
Yeah, but she's still like her biggest role is Lorraine Warren in all those movies. Like I can't say that I've seen any of the other movies she's in recently.
No.
Well, she plays Norma Bates in Bates Motel.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
It did go on for a while though.
Like 2 seasons?
It's from 2013 to 2017.
So a few seasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then she played the bad guy / good guy in Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Oh, that's right.
So that was also another thankless role.
Yeah. She's a bit underappreciated, and she kind of disappears in the crowd of actors.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because just like Patrick Wilson in The Conjuring, she's great.
Yeah. Maybe that's it though. Maybe she's a bit niched. I don't know how diverse her acting skills are.
I don't know either, but she started out so strong. Or I mean, she did a bunch of stuff before, but her breakout roles, like I said, Up in the Air and The Departed, were great movies, and she had great parts. And then she kind of like whatever, until The Conjuring. I don't know. We're not bashing on Vera Farmiga though. She's
No,
great.
no. We love her. She's great.
Yes.
She's perfect for Lorraine, definitely.
And her.
I kind of have that feeling with all of the adult actors, though. They kind of, with every actor in this movie, like you know them, you've seen them, but you can't really like say in what movie.
Yeah.
I've seen Ron Livingston in things. I've seen Lily Taylor in things as well. Can't really pinpoint what though.
Yeah, I don't know if they picked actors like that, like actors that people remember, but that might not have gotten like the attention they deserve. Because Ron Livingston is in one of the greatest cult movies of all time. He plays the lead role in Office Space.
Yeah,
and he's amazing in Office Space.
But when I'm watching The Conjuring, I'm not thinking, "Oh, that's the guy from The Office Space."
No, you think, "Oh, that's the guy."
Yeah, like that's I know you from somewhere.
He was also in what's it called? Drinking Buddies. I remember him from Drinking Buddies. And he's done about he's in tons of stuff, but he's not like a superstar. He's like a working actor.
Yeah.
And sometimes
actually, I kind of like that they picked people like that, not like a superstar to put a name on it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah,
because then you get good actors that can do the role the right way, but they don't stick out.
Yeah, they don't take over.
Same thing, with Lily Taylor. Like she's done horror before. She's in The Haunting from '99, but then you've seen her here and there. She plays one of the ex-girlfriends in High Fidelity. After that,
I remember her from 4 Rooms. That's where I remember her.
Who does she play in 4 Rooms?
She's one of the witches.
The witches?
Yeah, you remember the witches who invite the Bella up and do like a ritual bath thing stuff. She's the like Wiccan witch who brings a lot of herbs and stuff.
I don't remember that movie. The only things I remember that movie is insane. But I've only seen it a couple of times, and I remember things that stick out, like when they find the dead prostitute in the bed, and he starts screaming "Jesus fucking Christ" as he's puking. Yeah. I remember that, and I remember when they chop off. Is it Quentin Tarantino's finger? No, someone's finger in Quentin Tarantino's short.
Yeah.
I remember those 2 things. Oh, she's in X-Files. She plays a blind lady in X-Files in one episode. That's where I remember from. Yeah.
But also, she's in the Maze Runner, one of the movies where she's one of the.
Oh yeah, the doctor who's like, I have a cure, and 5 seconds later she explodes. It's like, okay, all right.
Strange.
Yeah. Right. So once again, working actress who does good jobs. Like she does good work as an actor.
Yeah, but
she hasn't really had like one of those big starring roles yet. No. But then they get that in The Conjuring,
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they all get to star without sticking out.
Exactly.
So and that's why The Conjuring works. Like you have perfect casting. You have a director who's good at like modern jump scare horror, but who adds like an old school flair to it. Like partly because it takes place in the 70s, he also wants to add like an old 70s 80s kind of vibe to it.
Definitely,
and it's a good script about the people, not about the monster.
Yeah, it's about the people experiencing what's happening around them.
Yeah,
not just that monster and the thing that happened to that thing. Like in the past, it is what it is. Even though you get some of that as well. I mean, you have to kind of get the background story to know how they can solve it, because they do have to solve it.
Sure. I mean, that's what it's about. But I know James Wan said in some documentary or behind the scenes stuff I saw that he always like secretly wanted to tell a love story, so he kind of disguised it as a horror movie in The Conjuring, because it is a love story
It is
between
definitely.
Ed and Lorraine Warren. But he's like, it's not a love story though; it's a horror movie. I promise, guys.
Yeah.
And that's also another good thing about the movie, both movies. But we're still talking about the first one. The fact that it's a happy ending. No one
Yeah.
dies, and
No
they
one
like uh, uh, good triumphs over evil.
Yeah. You know
It's
what I just realized?
it's so
Well, I'm
satisfying.
reading it on the trivia page, but the film does not contain any sex or nudity, little profanity, tame and mostly bloodless violence,
Yeah.
and brief depictions of alcohol and no smoking. They like play on the rules of horror, but in the right way. Like, the people of sex first dies first and all that stuff. See, they don't have any of that stuff. Of course, no one
No,
dies.
and and the thing is, that's because they don't need it. Why you have usually like those sleazy, terrible horror movies like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
They have like teenagers and they're always naked and they're having sex. That's because that's how you sell a movie. Ooh,
Yeah.
boobs. Ooh, blood.
Yeah.
It's to entice our base senses, which is fine if you're making a movie like that. But if you want to make like a
A proper
proper
movie.
movie, you need to put a little more effort into it, and they've done it with this. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's barely any blood. There's a little bit when the cop gets bitten in the face, and then when she
Yeah.
when she starts bleeding under the when they cover her with a
Yeah.
sheet when they're trying to exorcise her. There's blood then, but that's it for blood.
Yeah, and I think in the second one, the only blood you really see are like nosebleeds.
Yeah. Instead, they work on the unseen, the unknown, the fear of uh,
Of the
the unknown,
darkness,
the
sort of.
darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though it has no real violence, no nudity, there still are. I think they are rated, right?
Yes, but it's on the scary bits alone. Like,
Yeah, because it's so damn scary. It gets an R rating. Yeah.
and I agree with that because I remember being terrified when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I said, the second one still terrifies me.
Yeah. Yeah, because they are part of. I forgot to mention that before. It really started with Insidious, I should say. But
Yeah.
it's James Wan, and it's in the same vein. Um, it was like a renaissance for mainstream horror movies because
Yes.
before Insidious, 2009 and back, what you had were jump scare movies. You had
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity. You had I don't know, the Haunting in Connecticut. You had trash like that. You had
Yeah.
some good stuff here and there, like the Exorcism of Emily Rose, great movie, like an actual good movie.
Very, very underappreciated.
Yes, but you didn't have those the big like mainstream horror movies were trash.
Yeah.
And then James Wan did Insidious, which much like Conjuring is a movie about the family. It's not about the monsters attacking the family. It's about a family being afraid or trying to
Yeah.
fight for their lives. And then I would say not as much working, with the characters and everything, but The Woman in Black really like was a mainstream movie that was properly scary, which
Yes.
came in 2012, and then you had the Conjuring movies.
Yeah, that has the same like feeling to it.
Yeah,
Same, you're just afraid of what you can't see, what's in the dark.
yeah. And then James Wan has either directed or produced like one movie almost every year after that in either the Conjuring or the Insidious franchise.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So,
And if I remember correctly, they're sort of in the same universe because they're based on Lorraine, aren't they? The
um,
Insidious movies.
I can't find it, but I know I've read him say or heard him say that he was inspired by Lorraine Warren when he created the the clairvoyant lady in Insidious, the one who dies in the first movie.
Yeah. can't for the life of me remember the name of her.
Yeah.
Let me check.
The,
I
the
got it here.
the woman who becomes like the
Um,
star of those movies. What's his name? Lynn
Elise.
Shay, Elise Rainier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm pretty sure I've read somewhere that he was inspired by them when he created that movie, and then it was like, why don't I just make a movie about Ed and Lorraine Warren? And he
Yeah.
did. And it's kind of fun because, like I said, every year since 2010, he's either produced or directed a horror movie in those two series or franchises, and I think all of them, to varying degrees, are good horror movies.
Yeah.
We'll get more into some of the badder ones later, um, but I'm trying to think, like, so because I'm saying, like, oh, it was like a renaissance for like good mainstream horror movies, but unless it's a James Wan movie, has there been any other good horror movies, mainstream horror movies? Like The Witch doesn't count, Midsummer doesn't count.
I'm thinking about one, but I'm not sure when that came out. As Above, So Below.
Yes, okay, sure.
2014. But
Which
that was
we
one off.
Yes, and we mentioned that in our, maybe that was a Patreon episode, because we talked about we talked about the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yeah.
Because it's directed by the same guys who made the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Right. Yeah.
That's true. That's a good horror movie.
But that was a one off. Like, that was the only thing that came out back then that wasn't part of the James Wan universe,
yeah,
sort of.
I think so. So unless it's a like indie movie or a smaller movie, yeah, it's just James Wan movies that haven't been like good horror movies.
Honestly, I don't mind it.
No, I don't mind it either. That it's just good that he's managed to create franchises that are consistently at least good.
Yeah.
More
well, I haven't seen all of them yet, to be honest.
Me
so
neither.
This is gonna be exciting for the next 2 episodes.
Yes, I haven't seen Annabelle Comes Home yet, the last one before the world ended.
I haven't actually seen any of the Annabelle movies, or how do you say it?
La Llorona.
La Llorona, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen The Nun. Obviously, we went and saw The Nun.
Yeah, let's say this. We'll quickly touch on that, because I said that they're consistently good.
Yes.
In a way, because The Nun is not a good movie.
No.
I don't think it's a good movie, but I think it's a well-made movie. I like the style. I like the music in that movie. It's just what's lacking in that one is the script and the direction. That's the thing.
There are reasons, and I think we'll get back to that when we talk about that movie, actually.
Yes.
I want to continue on with The Conjuring 2.
Yes, we haven't really talked about that one.
No. This one scared me.
Yes. It's definitely the scarier of the two.
Like the one scene where like the horror truly begins for me is when the kid wakes up, goes down for a cup of water, and he comes up and his like toy truck is making sounds, and he puts it back in the tent. See, the thing is though, I had to pause in the middle of that scene, and I couldn't really get myself to keep watching it until later on that day.
Okay.
I press play, and literally 30 seconds later comes the one where he's screaming in the kid's face. I fucking flew back and shouted and like dropped my headphones and everything. Jesus Christ, I should have filmed that.
That movie it's really scary. Like I said, when I was watching it today, I was still getting like goosebumps in some of the scenes.
Yeah.
Especially the one, and it's not. And that's also like, once again, it's not just jump scares. It's actually scary scenes. Like
they build up the characters, the horror, the bad guys, the monsters to be actually scary.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's talk about that once again. You have fleshed. Every character is fleshed out except for the middle brother. That's one character.
He gets a little bit more like towards the end, a little bit. But that's just a tiny bit.
I remember. I don't remember if it was when we saw it in theater or when I bought it on Blu-ray. But it was like I'd forgotten that character existed until he says, "We can't let the ghosts bully us." That scene in the kitchen. I was like, "There's a second brother."
The funny thing is, after that scene, he literally disappears
Yes.
until everything's solved.
Yes.
They don't tell us where he goes. It's I was like, this time watching, I was like, did he is he killed? Is he dead? Where is he?
I think
Is he
he's
stuck in the walls?
I think he's in the movie because he exists in real life. If they
Yes.
had written a purely fictional movie, they would only have the sister and the brother, not the middle brother.
No, you wouldn't have needed him.
Because those are the two kids who interact more with the affected sister.
Yeah.
But once again, except for him, you have Ed and Lorraine Warren, which now are even more fleshed out, and actually I think it takes even longer for them to get involved. Yes. And we just see them in their everyday life and the struggles they have, unbeknownst to them, which is linked to the Hodgson family. The premonitions she has about Ed's death and the nun.
Yeah, the nun she's part of the first one, sort of as well. Not the horror that the family goes through specifically, but the nun is in their life already.
Yes, because she mentions that this is what I saw. Back when what happened in the first movie, or what happened with the French farmer. Because what she saw was him dying, and now we know that it was the nun who or Valak, as we find out, that wants to kill him.
That's also a great detail. Throughout the first part of the movie, before the nun is even like shown, you see the word Valak spelled out throughout Lorraine and Ed's house.
Oh, you do?
In like so many places. I only realized that when I watched it today. This time, because I know the word Valak. I remember that.
Okay, I missed that.
It's like in 4 places in their kitchen when they're having breakfast, that one short scene where they're pouring cereal, you see it in 3 or 4 places.
Okay.
You see it in the bookcase before she has the premonition he starts writing in the Bible.
Huh.
It's so weird. I never thought of that before.
No, that's good, because then Bill Wilkins, the spirit who is trapped by Valak, tells her that you know the name, you've seen it, you know the name, it's all around you.
Huh. And she's probably like the first time she ran into the nun in the spirit world, I guess. She must have had some sort of like recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously she had some. It wasn't just a regular premonition, because it scared her enough to close herself in a room for 8 days.
She must have heard the name that time as well, somehow.
Something like that, yeah.
Without knowing it. Like with this one, she didn't realize that she knew the name of it until she got out of it.
Yeah.
She could think.
And then, just like in the first one, you have a family where you get to know all the characters, except for the brother, then, I suppose.
You get a little bit of him, but not enough, no.
No, yeah. And they build it up, just like the first one. They build it up almost like a character drama. You have they're struggling with money, and the brother is he's stuttering.
Yeah.
And you see their everyday life before the scares happen.
Yeah.
And there's even, which they never confirm, but there's even like hints that because the sisters play with a Ouija board that Janet made at school with her friend Camilla, that she says Camilla,
girlfriend almost, as they hint at.
Yeah, there's a weird lesbo scene in the beginning.
I think that's just to like show that this family isn't just down on their luck. They're actually like, the kids are bullied. That's why they're emotionally weak and fragile and open for this haunting.
Which they established that as a rule in the first one, that if you don't have much to live for, you're a perfect target.
Because they feed off your fear.
Yeah, your frailty.
Yeah. Nice detail to keep on.
Yeah. Like every person that gets affected are emotionally frail in some way. Yeah.
In this case, it's partly the being down on their luck and not having any money. The main kid
recently divorced, also the parents.
Yeah, the dad just leaves. He's up and left. And Janet, the kid who gets possessed, is the most affected by the fact that their father left them.
Yeah. But then the hauntings start, and you have the scene, the one that like the made my friend Martin actually turn off the movie. He's never managed to finish it. It's the one where Janet is homesick and she's watching TV,
Oh yeah.
and then the TV turns off. She sees something sitting behind her, and then the guy just jumps out behind the TV.
My home.
Yeah, my home, right? That's what he says.
This is my house or something. Fucking hell, that scared me too. That is technically sort of a jump scare, yeah.
Yeah, but
But again, you
it is
build
the
up
bad
to
guy.
it.
He's
Yeah,
supposed to scare you. It's not
exactly.
just
Yeah.
it was a bird or the TV exploded. No,
No.
it's the bad guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, you build up to it for a long while before it happens.
And that scene is like 5+ minutes long, where she just like flips on the TV. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Until, oh my god, someone's sitting behind me. Oh my god, he wants to kill me.
It's so funny because Martin, if you're an avid listener to the podcast, and you've listened to some of the Patreon episodes, you've heard Martin. He's like, he used to be into horror movies, but not anymore. He's not big on the jump scare movies. But I was like, come on, man, you gotta watch The Conjuring 2. It's so, because I think he had seen the first one and it was scary enough that he said, no, I don't want to watch the second one.
Yeah.
You got it, it's a great movie. So we sat down to watch it, and when that scene came on, because that was back when he lived with his parents, opposite where our parents live. So it's a few years ago still. Anyway, so we were in his room. He was sitting on he was lying on his bed, and I sat on the floor with the bed as a
back.
Yeah, as a back rest, as a seat. Yeah. And when that scene starts, he was holding on to his pillow like he was prepared, because you can tell when it's gonna happen. Yeah. And when the guy jumps out and screams, "My house!" he just puts his face into the pillow and just, "No! Fuck!" But in Swedish, he screamed so loud, just those two words, "No! Fuck!" And then just turn it off, just turn it off. And I'd seen like a few times by then, but I was still like, oh, Jesus, jumping, mostly because he was screaming.
Yeah. I mean, I reacted
so
this time
scary.
as well. Again, I knocked my glasses off my own face. I was so scared.
Well, yeah, I remember when we saw it in the theater. I mean, I felt like I was getting a heart attack.
Yeah.
It was so fucking scary.
I mean, I think we saw this one though in the theater with a bunch of teenagers, which doesn't help.
No,
because that just ruins every single experience.
Yeah.
But I remember being scared.
Oh yes,
definitely. And like I said, I was still scared this time. The only thing that didn't scare me as much this time was the Crooked Man.
I never found the Crooked Man creepy. He was too fantastical.
Fantastical, yeah.
Yeah.
I found him creepy.
Creepy, sure, but not scary.
And I mean that scene where he screams, I'm guessing it's him. I'm not sure, because I think he has the connection to Billy, the kid who stutters.
When does he scream? Oh, you mean when he after the fire truck? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's him.
Because he's the one who's scaring Billy,
yes.
while Bill is scaring Janet. Well,
yes.
Not intentionally. And I mean, both of them, I'm guessing, are products of Valak. They don't really explain the Crooked Man.
No, yes, they do in the end. The old man, the Crooked Man, they're both disguises for Valak. They explain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And that's why when they decide that it is a hoax, because it's believed that it is a hoax from the beginning, and they're there to investigate. And when they see the footage of her like setting the stage for, oh, look what the ghost did,
throwing everything around,
throwing everything and bending spoons and shit.
It still looks a bit weird that she can do all that.
Yes.
To be honest, like, what 11-year-old can flip a table like that?
No, yeah, exactly. And that's why Lorraine says that she never felt a presence. She never felt Bill Wilkins' spirit, because she was actually looking for a demon, and the demon was masking its presence, and
Yeah.
that's why they thought it was a hoax. So,
Yeah, I mean they explained it pretty well in the movie, and I actually believe it. Like that makes sense.
Yeah,
and the way that Janet says this as well, like they wanted them gone, they would have killed you if they didn't leave.
yeah,
So I had to. Like, yeah, that makes sense because Valak is pure evil, and she doesn't want Lorraine there to expose her.
yeah.
Was that knocking you, or was it someone above you?
I think someone is knocking on the floor of the upper apartment. They make sounds all the time. I don't know.
Okay, cool. I don't know, ghosts. I don't know.
Yeah. um, but once again, so yeah, the scares are much. I think it's much scarier in this one, in the second one.
Yeah, it's more in your face.
Yeah, it's more almost like violent almost.
Yeah.
It's so angry. Both Bill and then Valak, when you see like the scene in the Warrens' house when their daughter points at her and says, "Who's that?" and you see the nun, and Lorraine follows her, and you see the shadow walking across the wall behind the painting that Ed made, because he has seen, somehow he has been affected by the nun as well, so he has painted her.
He has had the same vision that Lorraine has.
Just that he doesn't know, because he's not clairvoyant. Yeah.
No.
And when you see the shadow of the nun walking behind the painting, and then you see the hands behind the painting, and it starts running towards her. Oh, that's it's heart attack inducing, because it's so long, because it keeps running towards her and it doesn't stop. Even when it comes up to her, it doesn't stop, because then it pushes her into a dream sequence, because then all of a sudden she's in the
closet or
in the cellar or whatever it is. Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, Valak as a character looks a bit too much to me. It's a bit too much in your face horror.
I agree. It's too much. Ooh, I'm a scary nun with fangs.
Kind of like the red and black demon in Insidious.
Yes, it kind of ruins it a little bit.
It would have been more effective if it was like the woman in black, just
more
black.
Shadowy. Yeah, you don't really see it.
Exactly.
Definitely. But I think they do a good job of it in this one, The Conjuring 2, because the nun isn't really seen that much.
No.
The first couple times you see her, she just looks like a pale nun.
Yeah, and sometimes like they at the fact that she is in the room by having a dark corner being the focus.
Yes.
Without you actually seeing her.
Yeah.
Like, I have my screen on brightest. You don't see her.
No.
I don't even know if they actually put someone there, or if they're just like putting the camera angle correctly.
No, there's probably no one there then. Unfortunately.
It's like
it's not like there's a similar scene in the French movie L'Intérieur, or Inside, you know.
Yeah, I
know. Where the woman, no spoilers for that one, but the woman is standing in the corner while the lady is sleeping on the couch, and if you turn up the brightness there, you can see her like plain as day standing there, and I vomit when I see that scene. That's the movie we should talk about sometime.
Sure. I'd love to watch that one.
Oh yeah, it's so fun and wholesome. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, I do have to build up my scare level. What's it called? My scare tolerance.
Yeah.
Because I've been starting to play horror games. Shit, I can't do it.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think the most horrifying thing about Conjuring 2, though, is Bill, to be fair.
Yes.
Because he is, like...
He's so aggressive.
Scary, angry old men are horrifying. Even more so than women in horror movies. Like, an angry woman is usually portrayed as a witch, or just she's sad for some reason.
Yeah.
When there's a male, they're just fucking angry. and they just want to kill you.
Yeah, and
for
you
being away, basically.
and you have that scene when they want to communicate with him through Janet, but he won't speak through her when they're watching her. So everyone turns their back, and then she's out of focus, sitting in that chair that it was Bill Wilkins, and you start hearing his voice come through, and you only see Ed in the forefront in focus, and then
in the background you see
Janet Janet sitting there, but all of a sudden it just looks like there's a grown man sitting there. You can see his mouth moving, and I did specifically only watch that corner this time, because when I watched it the first time, you do focus on Ed because he's in focus, and then all of a sudden, like, oh my god, there's someone else sitting there.
Yeah, you can you don't see the shift, you're just realizing that something has changed.
But I specifically only watched Janet sitting in that chair. I want to see when do they switch. And even if you only watch it, you can't tell, because that scene it's one long shot, and I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes long when they're just talking.
Yeah.
And from the very second that she's out of focus to when they bring her back into focus, they are constantly like switching over. Yeah, not like back and forth, like slowly, slowly. So slowly that you can't see it. It's impossible. But she turns into Bill Wilkins after like a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But it's so slow and so subtle that you can't tell. And it's so effective. That is so fucking creepy when he starts speaking.
Also, it doesn't help that he has that
he talks like this, and he has a Cockney accent.
Yeah, and every time she starts, he's like taking over her. He growls like a dog.
Yeah, it's
just ooh.
And it's one long take, and the fact that Ed and everyone else, but you see Ed having their back turned to him, it's so unnerving. But then they don't end it with like a jump scare or anything. It just ends. It's just like, oh. It's so oppressing. Ugh.
That's horror again. That's the slow build up of just putting you in your place and
creeping horror
is there, but still doing. You know it's something. It doesn't have to jump out and scare you, even though he does sometimes, and it's effective.
Yes, he does.
But yeah, he's scary in general.
Yeah.
It's just it just hits you right where it should.
Yeah, and
every time.
And then eventually they do have, the big bombastic ending with all the scares and the lightning storm and the rain and everything. But that's just, it's the climax. So you got to do something. Yeah. But I mean, I think both movies they're just you can tell that it's movies that the people involved wanted to make. It's not like, let's just make a horror movie to make some money. No, they wanted to make these movies. Mm-hmm. They believed in making these movies.
They wanted to tell the stories correctly also, because they are based on true stories.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they're
true
based
stories, quote unquote.
They are true stories.
Yeah.
There is a Hudgington family that did have something like this happen to them, according to them.
Yes.
And same with the first one. There is what was the family called?
Perrin.
A Perrin family that say that they had this happen to them.
Yeah.
And Ed and Lorraine Warren were there to investigate.
Yes.
Not as much in the second one, as I understand, but they were like called in to like review material or something, at least.
Yeah, but no, I don't know how much of the ending is fact.
No, because apparently that Maurice Gross person was more the one who investigated this happening.
Okay, yeah.
Also, the casting on that one, he looks exactly like the
Yes, dude. He is spot on.
Yeah.
And once again, the kids, spot on the real kids. The mother, once again, is much older in reality than the actress.
Yeah, they have to, make them pretty sometimes.
Except for the kids, I suppose.
They're British kids, and they're kids. They're not supposed to be attractive.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
You have to have someone that looks a bit more movie.
Yeah.
Just with Ed. Like, you have to have a movie person. I love how the pictures on Conjuring 2, like the photos that come up on IMDb, two of them are Patrick Wilson jogging shirtless.
Really?
Like, one is from the movie, three are from like behind the scenes or red carpets, and then two are just Patrick Wilson jogging shirtless.
Okay.
So they kind of bank on him being an attractive human.
But not in the movie.
No, not in the movie. I mean, that one scene where he plays the guitar and sings Elvis.
Ah, yes. Yes,
That is
yes.
purely made to make him look attractive and like.
Well,
just...
I think it's one more to show that, you know, because that happens like in the middle of the movie where we had a lot of like terrible scares, but
they want the family to become a family again.
Yeah, and just like in the first one, like there are like injections of humor and humanity all throughout the movie. It's not just, oh, it's in the beginning and now it's all scares. No, it's all over the movie.
Yeah, in the first one you have that breakfast scene where Ed and Lorraine are like hanging laundry and he's fixing the car and they're having breakfast and Lorraine's like, oh, go to bed, Mom. We'll keep an eye on the kids. Yeah. It's fine.
The same thing here. He fixes the pipes and stuff.
They have that heart-to-heart with Janet, who's been more affected. Both of them have their separate like heart-to-hearts with her.
Yeah. And that scene when he sings, what's it called? I Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts as kind of a joke. He's doing the Elvis voice, and everyone's laughing. But then he gets the kids to sing along in the second chorus.
Yeah.
And I think it's partly to inject some downtime so you can like breathe out. Everything is fine. But also to show, because you see Lorraine standing. She's not singing along. She's kind of standing in the doorway to the room. Yeah, and you can see in her eyes like this is why I love him, but she's also worried because she knows that he's going to die if we stay here. So lots of stuff going on in that scene.
In both movies, that she doesn't really want to continue doing this just because she knows that if they do, he is gonna die. The premonition is gonna come to life.
They kind of switch it because in the first one, she's more okay with it, and he's worried that she's going to go insane or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be too much again.
Yeah, and in this one, it's he really wants to help them, but the more they stay there, the more Lorraine gets worried because it's gonna come true. My premonition's gonna come true, and she kind of wants to leave, and he wants to stay. And it's good because Lorraine. The focus in the movies are always a little more on Lorraine because she is the clairvoyant one.
She has to. Exactly. She has the connection with the other world.
Yeah, but I like that they shift that focus on who's actually the more gung ho to him in the second one.
Yeah.
So they get equal like amount of main screen time, so to speak. Yeah.
The only thing I find a bit strange, but that's just the characters in general. When they're in both movies, when they're with this other family, even just when things are dark and they're working, and then you have the light spots, it feels like they kind of forget their daughter.
Yes,
which I find a bit strange.
And I wonder if they're gonna work on that, because their own home life. Especially in the second one, she's there in the beginning, of course, when they're home, but when they leave for England, she's just gone from the movie.
Yeah.
In the first one, at least, you know, the witch or the witch ghost affects their daughter as well. Bathsheba, comes home to them, so they need to save their daughter.
Home and they get home, and
so you get a little more. But their daughter is she's just like dressing. In the second one, which is weird. But then I know that Annabelle Comes Home takes place between Conjuring 1 and 2. It technically should take place before Conjuring one, because it's one when they bring Annabelle home. Ha ha ha.
Okay, yeah.
And that movie is all about their daughter. It takes place during like one night when they accidentally let the doll out. So I wonder if they have, because they're in the movie but not a lot. So I wonder if they have more interaction with her then. Because
she's not in it.
No, they have a different actress.
Yeah, but she is the same actress for all the Conjuring movies, though.
Yes, I don't know why they switched in that one. Maybe she wasn't available. I don't know.
Yeah. She didn't want to have more of a prominent role.
Maybe.
But she does come back as Judy Warren in The Conjuring 3, so we'll see there, because she gets progressively older as well.
Yes.
Obviously.
Sam,
and you can tell that she's older. So I wonder if she will have a more prominent role in the third one, if she'll be more involved.
Yeah, if they're gonna address the fact that they like leave her for weeks on end with just their like housekeeper or whatever it is. Yeah.
No, I think it's Lorraine's mom. She says mom in the phone, at least.
Oh, right. Yes.
The first one.
That's true, yes.
I mean, true, they might not want to bring their daughter when they go to another country to investigate, because
no, of course not.
Out of school and stuff.
Yeah, but she's the only character that doesn't really get any... she's not anything, yeah.
She's in that one Valak scene, like, that's it.
Yeah.
And the breakfast scene, but
yeah.
You know. She doesn't have any speaking roles except for "Mommy, who's that?"
Yeah. So and I know that they like go on a vacation or something, like they have to get away in Annabelle Comes Home. So once again, they just leave her in a house full of demons. Okay.
Yeah, because that's also the thing. They have a museum of horror in their house. It's not even like in the basement or anything. It's just a random room in their house.
It's not a museum. It's just a like safe place.
True, but you know.
Yeah, but like they say in the first one, it's they feel like it's better to have them there where they can protect people from them. It's like you said, it's like getting guns off the street.
Yeah, but they got their daughter living right there.
I know, you know, she does get attacked by Annabelle and Bathsheba in the first movie, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's a bit odd, but maybe this all being paranormal investigators and having to travel the world literally kind of takes a toll on having a child. I don't know.
Maybe, but I hope that's something they address at some point in the franchise. Because, like I said, she's the only character that doesn't get any development. Even characters only in one movie have more. Like fucking Drew has more of a character than she has.
Yeah. even the neighboring father in the second one, Vic Nottingham. He gets so much screen time, and he's so developed.
He's helping them to open up the door, and she's driving them back and forth. And when they're trying to figure out the name of the, it's like what? Or trying to figure out the riddle, like, oh, the you carried with you for your entire life, like, and he's like, what could that mean? I almost wanted him to say, oh, that's your name, love, that's your name, because he figures it out. He reminds me of do you remember Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yeah.
There's a scene where they split up. Samuel L. Jackson goes to a football or baseball stadium to figure out one puzzle, while John McClane goes down into like some aqueducts that they're building. And he jumps into a truck that's down there and says, "Bring me to this place," and he points at some map. And then they're trying to figure out the name of a specific president to figure out where the bomb is, the next bomb, because it's in a school called after the name of a president. And the truck driver just, Chester A. Arthur. Like, what? Yeah, it's the 20th president, whatever. And he starts talking about the history of New York, and he becomes a character for a couple of scenes. And Vic almost feels like that character. For a couple of scenes, he's like in he's in the thick. Yeah.
He's part of it. Like, he's not just the neighbor taking care of the kids, or like his wife Peggy. Like, sure, she's the emotional support for Janet. No, wait, are they both named Peggy?
Are they? No.
Yeah, they're both named Peggy. Both mothers are named Peggy.
Are they?
Peggy Hodgson and Peggy Nottingham. Funny.
That's
See, I was a bit confused when I watched it because I couldn't figure out who was talking to who sometimes because they're both calling each other Peggy.
I
How
didn't
that
think
makes
of that.
sense?
Oh yeah, that's true. Peggy Hodgson and Peggy Nottingham.
Yeah, well, Nottingham.
Yeah.
She's the emotional support for Hodgson because well, the husband left and she's down on her luck and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So she gets her character from that bit, but then Vic he's almost like the hero. Like
Yeah, he calls the cops and he's like, "Oh, you got to do something." When he talks to the cops, he's invested.
yeah,
Oh, I like that.
he's the one who calls the ambulance when they save Janet in the end. Like
Yeah.
he's the one. He actually says it on screen. Like I'll call an ambulance.
Once again, like
Good on you.
small roles like mattering in the story, and
Yeah.
him being a good actor as well. So,
Yes.
so it doesn't feel out of place. It feels natural that he is part of it when he's in the scenes. He's not just standing there like, oh no. He's actually part of it. Yeah.
And he's actually been in a bunch of stuff.
Well, I'm sure, yes. British actors are in everything.
True.
It's kind of like I haven't really seen it myself, but people say like, if you watch a movie from Canada, you'll recognize all the small parts because they're in every Canadian movie that's ever made.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of similarities between the two movies,
Yes,
and that makes sense because
the same structure almost.
yes.
Which is understandable though. It is a sequel. So I mean it should like follow some sort of similarity to make you realize that it is a sequel.
It starts with a different scary story. The first one has Annabelle,
Yeah.
the second one has the Amityville house.
Yeah.
And then there's introduction of the family and them being affected, and then there's the home life of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and then it all comes together, and then there's the explosive ending.
There's the investigation and then the ending. Yeah.
Yes. Which one do you prefer?
Oh,
that's a hard one.
No, that is a hard one. Cause
yeah,
they're kind of like Monster of the Week episodes.
Yes.
In a way, which just makes them different enough to be separate movies, but similar enough to be connected. So I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously more scared of the second one.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it as much. And Bill freaking creeps me out.
Yeah.
I hate angry old men.
Yeah,
in general.
Well, I think most people dislike angry old men or angry people in general.
Old men are scarier.
Sure. I would almost say the second one. The only reason I prefer the first one is that the set design, not inside the house but outside the house in the second one, feels like it's in a studio. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah, I read somewhere that they actually made the tree from the first one. That's not a real tree. They like made it.
I was talking about the second one.
Ah, I thought you meant the first one.
No. The second one feels a little fake. It feels when they're in the backyard with the swings.
More close in.
Yeah, you have the fog and everything. It feels like they're on a set. Inside is fine, but it's just something about the outside that just like I don't know.
That is, it's very close in. It's very like you're on a street with a lot of houses.
Yes.
So you can't really like in the first one you have plot. You have a lot of plot. You have a lake that's involved.
Yeah.
Like you have more space to roam and spread out. In this one, you kind of confined to their own home because you don't want to bother the neighbors and.
Yeah.
You don't really have much of a backyard in an English home like that.
No, sure. But then the first one really benefits then from it feels like they're really there, which they were. I mean, the interiors were built on a set, but the exteriors are like out in the real world, and you can feel
except for the tree.
Well, yeah, except for the tree.
Well, it's out there, but they put it there.
yeah. That's the only, and I don't know why that like makes me enjoy the first one more, because the second one has better scares.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's also because it is a sequel, so it's like the first one did it first. Maybe it's that. I don't know.
A little bit. I would say that a bit because it does feel like the first one was almost revolutionary, and the second one it's a sequel. Like,
Yeah, it's a
it doesn't
copy
do
somewhat.
anything specifically revolutionary within it.
No,
It's
yeah.
just as great as the first one, but the first one did it first. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
And I think the whole vast exterior helps with making the like the calm moments almost more calm,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
because it adds fresh air basically.
Yeah.
Because in the second one, even when they have that they're almost happy, they have Christmas and everything, you still have that looming feeling of someone's in the walls.
Yeah, and everything's
You
so
don't,
gray.
yeah, you don't fully relax
No, yeah.
because you're still like, that is still the chair, and it still looks like that fucking corner burned or something.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the wall there, yeah.
So it's still always in your vision, something about of the creepy stuff.
Yeah. So
While in the first one, you have them being outside in sunlight.
yeah, exactly.
Like, it feels so, yeah, fresh air. Like, it just feels so fresh and open and relaxed almost.
Yeah.
You can breathe at least. I think that helps because you do need that in a scary movie.
Yes.
Definitely.
And also it feels like it feels like they're in more locations, or they're switching locations more. Because when they're in the house, when they're in England, it's basically all within the house. It's a little bit in that pub, and when they're sitting on the train. But other than that, it's just the house. In
Yeah.
in the
And the
first
house
one,
is very small.
yes, in the first one they leave, they go home to save. They're back in their house after having been there in the beginning, of course.
They're in the
They're
motel.
in the motel.
Shortly.
And
There's
yeah,
more to
all
the
the scenes that take
house.
place outside. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a bigger house, so you have more rooms,
Yes.
you have more floors. Well, no, technically not, but it feels like it's more because the basement is bigger. It's a bigger separate set, and the living room is one set, the kitchen is one set.
Yeah. So
I think that just helps. It feels more like it's bigger in general.
yeah. So I think I prefer the first one, but it's
Yes.
very close. Like, they're both great movies, and that's
Depends on if you want to get scared or not. I
sure,
think.
sure, yeah.
If you want to get scared, watch the second one because it's
Much
way
scarier.
creepier.
Yeah. But
The
it's also
atmosphere is pressing. In the first one, it's just like, okay, you need to find the demon and stop it. Sort of.
but it also shows in the Metascore, because the first one has 68 and the second one has 65, so it's barely any difference.
Yeah.
So they are both very, very good movies.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And I think unless you have anything more to say about them, I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. We need to save some stuff because we have more to talk about in the universe.
There's plenty more to talk about. We're gonna talk about Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Comes Home, The Curse of La Llorona, The Nun.
Yeah.
And eventually The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. There's lots of movies left. And
maybe we'll even touch on the Insidious movies since we talked a lot about them as well.
Yes, I think we will as well. At some point we will.
Yeah.
Because they feel connected, because the similar styles, and the director, of course, and some of the actors.
Some of the actors. Yeah. That's
true. But so here's the plan. Now, we've talked about the two Conjuring movies. So next up, we're going to talk about the big spin-off franchise, which is the Annabelle trilogy.
Yes.
However, we're doing that on our Patreon. It's going to be a Patreon exclusive episode. So if you want to hear us bash the clearly inferior Annabelle movies.
Well, I haven't seen them. I can't say that yet.
Sure. But I'll spoil that for you. They're not as good.
Yeah. I could almost assume that.
Please check us out on Patreon so you can listen to that podcast, and also get all the other exclusive podcasts for only $3 a month. And
links
then
will be in the description if you're watching it on YouTube.
Yes, of course. Links are in the description. And if then next week, next Thursday, we're going to talk about the other two spin-offs, then La Llorona and The Nun.
Yes.
and it's I don't know. I haven't rewatched The Nun since I saw it in the theater. I have a review of it on this channel, so you can check that out if you want to. And I'm not very positive in that review, but I it's a movie I really want to like, but I can't.
Yeah.
Because of
I
stuff.
don't remember much about it, except for the fact that the thing I mentioned, that the nun feels a bit too made
Spooky.
scary.
Spoopy, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She could have been more toned down to be more actually creepy.
Yes.
But
But we'll talk more about that in
yes.
next Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the next
So once again, yeah, please check us out on Patreon, and if you've been listening to this or watching us on YouTube, you can listen to all previous episodes. And we're actually out on the proper podcast platforms as well: Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Podbean, all that. And so you can listen to this without having to sit down in front of a computer and listen to us. So please check us out there as well. And also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, so you're always notified when we release new episodes. And of course, once again, check us out on all the social media. Instagram run by you, Rebecca, and the Twitter run by me. We're gonna get updates on what movies we're gonna talk about in the future. And we'll see you in the next one. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.